There was a man in South India who wanted to pursue spiritual path. In India, pursuing spiritual path means it's an age-old habit. First thing is they will go off into the forest, looking for a cave to sit and meditate. So the man went off into the jungle, but of course you position yourself close to your village because you need food. So he sat there and boom, started mantra. Whenever he got hungry, he came to the village, begged some food, went back. And as night fell, he noticed there was a fox. Both his front legs were severed in some trap or something, it's gone. But still he is well-fed and healthy. Nature is not kind to any kind of incapability. If you lose your legs, you lose your life. But this fox has lost its legs but well-fed and healthy. He was surprised. But then he ignored and focused on his meditation. As night fell, he heard the roar of a lion, the growls of a lion coming. He forgot about his meditation and climbed the tree. He sat there and to his amazement, the lion, a full-grown male lion, came with a piece of meat and brought it and dropped it in front of the fox and went away. The fox had his dinner. He couldn't believe this. A crippled fox is being fed by a ferocious lion. Hallelujah! This is a miracle. This is a message from the divine. What is it? What is it? What is it? And he was wondering. Next day evening again the lion came with a piece of meat, dropped it in front of the fox and went away. Now he thought, for sure this is God is sending a message to me. What is it? Then he interpreted it in his own way. He said, even a crippled fox in this forest is being fed by a lion. You fool, what are you going looking for food for? Just sit here, it'll come and fall in your mouth. So he simply sat. 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, meditation became like this, 4th day like this. By 7th day, he was groaning between life and death. Another yogi was passing this way, he heard these sounds of a man dying. He came down and he asked, what happened to you? Why are you in this condition? He said, oh yogi, please tell me. A divine message came to me. I went by the message and I became like this. The yogi asked, what happened? He said, see, look there, there's a crippled fox. Every day that fox is being fed by a ferocious lion. Is this not God's message to me? Is this not a divine message? The yogi looked at him and said, definitely this is a divine message. But why is it that you chose to be like a crippled fox and not like a generous lion? So this is a choice that you have. Every moment of your life, whatever the nature of the situations that you face, are you a generous lion or are you a crippled fox constantly calculating how to get something out of something? That makes the difference. That makes who you are. You do not become who you are because of what you eat. You become who you are because of what you do, what you feel, what you think, and how you are within yourself, isn't it? See, you see right now, I'm sure even in Ahmedabad it's true, every city it is true, at 40 degrees centigrade, he's selling fruit. How much of it will be left? Even if the fruit is there, nothing is there in it because fruit is 90% water. There is substantial medical evidence to show you any food that you eat, its water content should be higher than your body's water content. You must eat water, not drink water. This campaign by water bottling companies in America especially, and it's gone everywhere, every day you must drink 3 liters of water, 4 liters of water. You will dilute your blood and suffer many things. Micronutrients won't reach your brain or various cells simply because you're overly diluted. And anyway, all you will do is you need bathrooms every kilometer. In America, there are more bathrooms than the population because drinking so much water, you have to go all the time. You must eat water, your food must have water content. You eat dry food and then drink water, it doesn't do the thing. Fruit has nearly 80 to 90% water. That is why it's the best thing to consume. We have to bring it back into the nation's diet. As far back as many centuries or a millennia ago, people have noticed that we were eating a lot of fruit because we have the highest variety of fruits in this country. But most of the traditional fruits are gone. Most of the fruits you see in the market are from New Zealand or Australia or Thailand or somewhere. Traditional fruits are almost going out. I don't know what you call them, the local names, but there are so many varieties of tropical fruits in this country which are all vanishing. From the market it's vanished. The trees also I don't see them anywhere anymore, which were all common at one time. I'm not talking 500 years ago, I'm talking 50 years ago, this was all very, very common.
Good afternoon. Good to see such a big audience. I'm here with a man who has inspired millions of Indians to work for the environment and particularly to clean up and save the fantastic, beautiful big rivers of India. So I think we will explore a little bit what inspires you and then how you're able to inspire others, and then later we'll move on to maybe the more practical issues regarding how you can achieve such a big movement in India. But let's start there. I mean, how you have been inspired to start working for the environment?
Namaskaram. Good afternoon to everyone. My engagement with rivers and forests of southern India started very early for me. When I was 8, 9 years of age, if I got enough money to buy food for 3 to 4 days, I just managed this and disappeared into the jungles by myself. Well, it was a big concern for those who bore me, but
But they liked it or?
I just lived in the jungles and when I was there, I did not experience this as some kind of nature or natural beauty. I just saw it as a life larger than myself. And when I was 17, I floated down Kaveri river for 163 kilometers for 13 days, eating off the river, living off the river, just on 4 truck tubes and a few bamboos. And the river is a life beyond you and me. People like you and me come and go, but these rivers have been flowing for millions of years and they must flow forever. But such a mighty life, we've brought it down to its knees today. The rivers that I saw at that time, 50 years ago, and the rivers that I see today are just half of what they used to be. They say average depletion is around 44%, but many rivers are well below half, and many of them which were perennial for millions of years have become seasonal rivers. This year, Kaveri did not touch the ocean for 3.5 months. It dried up 170 kilometers inland. The entire length of Kaveri in Tamil Nadu. Between these two states, Karnataka and Tamil Nadu, there is a big war for water. It's going on for the last 25 years. But the entire length of the river is only 430 kilometers. But it dried up 170 kilometers inland. And the sad part is when we did this painting competition across the country in over 160,000 schools, many children, when we asked them to paint a river, they just painted sand. This is the experience of the people.
And why is that? Why are they going so dry? Is agriculture? Why is it?
See, in India, only 4% of the river water is glacial or ice-fed. Rest is all forest-fed. Forest-fed essentially means we have rains. Unlike in Europe, we have rains for only on an average of 40 to 45 days across the country, which is our monsoon. This 45 days of precipitation, we are supposed to hold it in the land for 365 days and let it go in the river slowly. If this has to happen, substantial vegetation has to be there. There is a serious removal of vegetation, not only in the form of forests, but also in the farmlands there used to be vegetation. For example, in the Ganga basin, which amounts to 25% of India's geography and 33% of India's agricultural produce, in the last 50 years we have removed 94% of the green cover, 94%. This has happened mainly because I know this well because 45 years ago I was into farming and at that time when the new movement came of green revolution where we started using fertilizers for the first time, chemical fertilizers, fertilizer companies openly advised every farmer to remove all the trees because fertilizer gets absorbed by the aggressive root system of the trees and it will not produce yield for the crops. So, across the country in the last 35–40 years, a huge depletion of green cover happened. That is the main reason why waters have receded. Another thing is there is a serious exploitation of groundwater, which is an inevitable consequence of not having enough water in the rivers.
In your video you said something like, people believe that water brings forest, but the opposite is more true, forest brings water.
It is so, there is substantial science today to show you that it is the tree cover which attracts rain. And right now, we see that wherever the rains happen in India, the monsoon is becoming so scattered, though the same volume of water is coming down in principle. In the last 100 years, there's not been too much variation in the amount of water or the precipitation coming down on the Indian subcontinent. But where it is coming down, in what patterns it is coming down has completely altered, mainly because of lack of green cover. And today there is no more debate about it, everybody knows that it's the forests which draw water or rain. When it comes to rituals, yes, there are choices. But what ritual I do, you must also do. There's no such thing. But don't throw the baby with the bathwater. We must be able to see what is corruption in this.
My question today is, in the world that we live in today, there exists a multitude of paths to traverse, both spiritually and religiously. But I'm confused, and as a millennial, I'm really doubting if a ritualistic approach is relevant today.
Well, you may be a millennial, but these choices you have only in this country, you better know that. If in many other countries in the world, if you say you have a choice of choosing, generally you will be dead. If you're not dead, you will be harassed in 1,000 different ways. In this country, you can choose, which is one. Because we don't have a religious constitution which cannot be edited or amended. Here we have various books which can be amended, which can be debated, something can be done about it. Coming to ritual, how rituals came into existence is like this. Do you brush your teeth every day in the morning? I'm just asking. You do? Hey, don't do this means no. Yes. So, every day in the morning you brush your teeth. Some kind of a ritual, isn't it? In fact, people say morning rituals. They're not talking puja, they mean shit, shower and shave. I don't do, you don't do. So, anything that you do regularly, not necessarily by choice, but you decide to do it because you have decided, it's good for me, becomes a ritual in your life. This ritual of brushing your teeth came to you because your parents, maybe your mother, insisted. When you were like this, she insisted, you must brush your teeth. You say, no, I want to eat. You say, no, no brushing, no breakfast. Are you thankful to your mother, she insisted on your ritual? Yes or no? Are you? Not… that time you were irritated, I want to eat, what's the problem, why should I brush every day? But now you're glad that she brought this ritual into your life. It works, isn't it? At least for everybody else around you it works. So, similarly, rituals came for variety of reasons.
If you are able to… you said there are multitude of spiritual paths. No, there's only one. If you say spiritual, you have to turn inward. There are no many inwards, there's only one. Hello? There's only one inward. Well, you may go like this, you may go like this, you may go like this, but there's only one inward. So when it comes to a spiritual path, there's only one. You have to turn inward. When it comes to religion, maybe there are choices. When it comes to rituals, yes, there are choices. So when people were not competent, everybody was not competent to simply sit like this and become meditative, then they taught them simple processes. I must tell you this. Many years ago, some institute… these days I don't subject myself to such indignities because I can afford that. Many years ago, some institute who thinks they are scientific, they said because I was obligated to them for something, and they said, we want to study the gamma waves in your brain. I didn't know I had gamma waves. I know I have a working brain, but I didn't know I have gamma waves in my brain. They said, no, they're gamma waves, we want to study that. I said, okay, what should I do? They said, you sit down here, and they put 14 electrodes into me, and they said, you meditate. I said, I don't know how to meditate. They said, well, you're teaching everybody meditation. I said, I teach people meditation because they cannot sit still. I have to teach them so many methods to make them still. If you want me to sit still, I will sit absolutely still, inside out. But you know, research is funded. Scientific research is always funded. They need a name, they need the category of meditation and gamma wave whatever nonsense. But I'm not going to give them such pleasure. I said, if you want me to sit and do nothing, I'll do nothing, but no meditation. Then after much discussion, probably they found a name for nothing. And I said, okay, you do nothing. I sat. After about 15–20 minutes, you know that funny place in your elbow where if you do the tongue, it'll go? They're taking a metal object and tok, 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 they're hitting that place. It's just leaving my palm numb. I thought, okay, it's part of their experiment, and I simply sat there. Then they started doing my ankle, became very persistent and painful. Then I thought, why are they beating me up like this? What have I done wrong? When I opened my eyes, all of them are giving me a weird look. I said, why did I do something wrong? They said, according to our machines, you're dead. I said, this is a great diagnosis you're making. And then they, among themselves, they spoke and say, obviously this guy speaking is not dead. So they said, maybe your brain is dead. I said, please, I don't like this second opinion. If you give me a death certificate, I don't mind being dead like this. But brain dead is not good for me, it'll affect my activity. Yes, why I'm telling you this is, if you could handle everything internally, no problem with you. That's the best way to do it. Simply, this is yoga. If you know how to handle this whole machine, all levels of this machine, your body, your thought, your emotion, your energy, your life energies, everything, you know how to handle from within, no ritual for you. Never in my whole life have I ever prayed, you know. But I'm prayerful to anything. If I see a mountain, if I see a rock, if I see a tree, if I see a cow, if I see a man, woman, child, I'm prayerful. But I'm not praying, I've never prayed to any god for anything, ever. So I'm not ritualistic in any sense, because if I close my eyes, I can deal with everything that I need to deal with my life, both internal and external. I want to fix this, I close my eyes. If I want to fix that, I close my eyes. If you do enough sadhana, you can become like this. It's not out of reach, it is available for every human being. They don't pay enough attention, that's all. But if you don't know this, you want to become peaceful, you don't know how to sit still, then what do? I'll teach you one mantra. Okay, say this every day in the morning, 20 minutes, you say this. Now you become peaceful. This is your ritual. If it's working for you, what is your problem? If it's not working, drop the damn thing, do something else. Every day in the morning you took a swim, that became your ritual, you felt wonderful, do the damn thing. Somebody is doing yoga as a ritual, somebody is doing puja, somebody is uttering a mantra, somebody is singing a song. If it is working for them, what the hell is anybody's problem? But what ritual I do, you must also do. There's no such thing. Something is working for me, I'm doing it. It's not necessary you must do it. But if you ask me, suppose I'm somebody who's doing every day in the morning Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, it's working for me. If you come and ask me, I'm feeling freaked, what should I do? Hey, try this Om Namah Shivaya, it's working for me. If you like it, you also do it or you do something else. You do dam, doom, das, puss. But the thing is, it must work for you, that's the important thing. So rituals were fantastic devices created with certain wisdom. Over a period of time, they might have become corrupt in practice. Over a period of time, they might have become tools for exploitation for certain people. But don't throw the baby with the bathwater. We must be able to see what is corruption in this, eliminate the corruption and use the technique. Don't throw away everything that the civilization has learnt in thousands of years of living and think you will reinvent the wheel tomorrow. Everybody will be queuing up at a psychiatrist, just know that. The number of people who are queuing up with mental illnesses today is simply because there is no what we used to call as achara vichara. There is no debate about what is this life, why am I like this, what is the nature of my existence, no achara, no vichara. And no achara, there is no anything. See, if your mothers or fathers did not insist that you must have the ritual of brushing your teeth, what an unpleasant place this hall would be right now. Because out of your freedom, some of you would, or a whole lot of you would come here, decide, I will not brush, what is the problem? No, maybe no problem for you, everybody else suffers. If you open your mouth, if you stink, not necessarily because of not brushing, just because of your culture, the way you behave, the way you speak, the way you sit, the way you stand, if people around you suffer because of your behavior, which is happening everywhere, isn't it so? Especially for girls, isn't it so? If you get into a damn bus in the town, because all these things were taught as ritual, this is how you must approach. When we are growing up in our house, our sisters are there, you cannot even address them in singular. You always have to address them with a certain respect, even when they're little girls. We want to fight with them, we want to beat them, but no. You have to address the girls in a certain way. When you grow up with this kind of ritual, now you learn how to treat every woman on the street. Otherwise, look at the way people are behaving, most uncivilized. Uncivilized means what? The necessary rituals of culture are not there in those people, isn't it? So these can be various kind of rituals, social rituals, spiritual rituals, religious rituals, it doesn't matter. Is it working for you? are not working for you? That should be the only question.
Sadhguru, when I come for volunteering at IE program, my energy levels are very high. Even the same dishes when I wash at home, I don't feel the same energy level. How to make my home, my work, everything as an ashram?
You should give it all away to me. Really? Anyway, I'm not going to come and eat in your house every day. But in your mind, you must give it away. Because here you're doing it as an offering, it's a beautiful thing. There you're doing it as a chore, it's an ugly thing. Both the same work, it's just you. Isn't it? Same dishes, same work, just you who can make it either miserable or joyful. So even what you do at home and office, why don't you do it as an offering? What's stopping you? I won't ask for you, I won't come and steal your salary, I won't come and eat your food. Why don't you just do it as an offering? It'll work beautiful. It'll work beautifully, not only because your mindset has changed, above all you become receptive for grace. That's the most significant thing, that is the most important thing in your life, to become available to grace. If that one thing is not there, this is an uphill task, quite an impossible task. I wouldn't say impossible, torturous. If you go with grace, you glide effortlessly, joyfully. If you try to walk, then it is a very torturous journey. I don't see what's the point in anybody making the process of life unpleasant for themselves. We do not know what big things will become in your life, whether you are going to climb Mount Everest or not, whether you are going to run 100 meters in we should talk 7 seconds or not, whether you're going to beat the Bolt or not, whether you're going to become a billionaire or not, we do not know. This one thing you deserve, that the process of life was a pleasant experience for you. This one thing must happen to you, isn't it? This one thing every human being deserves, isn't it so? Other things according to their capabilities. All the other things according to their capabilities. This one thing every human being deserves, that you make the experience of life into a pleasant process. This much must happen, isn't it? Other things we don't know. They may happen, they may not happen because they're subject to various realities. It's not just you. Those situations are not just you, isn't it? Those situations are so many things. This one thing you can do it. This one thing happens. Life is beautiful. According to our capabilities, each one will do whatever we can do. That's all there is to life, isn't it? But this one thing should happen. So, you must be a volunteer, always. What being a volunteer means is, to volunteer means you're doing your life willingly. That's all it means. Right now if you say, I'm a volunteer, what it means is, I am doing whatever I am doing willingly. Yes? So this is all the choice you have. You can either do your life willingly or unwillingly. If you do it willingly, it becomes a love affair. If you do it unwillingly, it becomes a rape. If you do it willingly, it becomes your heaven. If you do it unwillingly, it'll become your hell. Yes? That's all the difference, isn't it? Anything that you're doing in your life, if you're doing it willingly, it's a beautiful thing. If it's happening to you unwillingly, it's a horrible thing, isn't it so? So being a volunteer does not mean washing dishes, does not mean cutting vegetables, does not mean this or that. learning to become willing in all kinds of situations. That you do every moment of your life willingly, not unwillingly. Because the moment unwillingness comes, even if the most beautiful thing is happening to you, it feels like you're being buggered by life. Yes or no? You're unwilling, but we'll push you into heaven, you will suffer. How do you know you're not already in heaven? Is there any proof? Is there any proof in your hands that this is not heaven? Because you're unwilling, even the heaven is ugly. If you're willing, it's very beautiful. And only if you are willing, you become available to grace, otherwise you have to plod every step, which is not easy. When will you learn how to handle my thought, how to handle my emotion? We will give you tools, how to figure this machine out. Whatever the issue, we'll do our best. But this should not be the issue.
In life, there are many phases where we feel that we are depressed, we are lonely, and when everybody is against us, and there is no one to, guide us or talk about it. So at that moment, how should we handle it or how should we deal with it?
See, this is an unfortunate condition that a whole lot of human beings are in. In their experience, in their personal experience, life is like me versus the universe. Being in competition with the universe is a stupid thing to do. That's not a competition you must get into. Hello? Me versus the universe is a bad competition to get into. Would you also agree with me? So, this is why yoga. Yoga does not mean twisting and turning your body. The word yoga means union. Right now it's me versus the universe. This is just your psychological condition. This is not the reality. Even when you feel utterly lonely, are you still breathing? So you're transacting with the world, isn't it? Yes? You only can't get along with the people around you, but the atmosphere is okay with you, food is okay if it tastes good, water is okay. You have transaction with the world, isn't it? Your existence is constantly an engagement with the universe, but your mind becomes against the universe. If you create a psychological condition that you're against or you're in competition with the universe or the cosmos, obviously you will feel crushed for small things. Little things will crush you. When I say little things, maybe you failed your examination, maybe you got thrown out of this university, maybe you got fired from a job, maybe somebody ditched you, maybe something else like this happened. These are all small things between life and death. Because you came here with nothing, isn't it? When you die, there is no container service for you. You die with nothing. In spite of that, most people have turned their homes into warehouses. Most people are carrying such a huge baggage on their head, as if they're carrying the whole universe on their head. This is their own psychological condition. Your thought and emotion is what you're talking about, right? Now you're going to figure out how to handle your thought and emotion. Not hers, not hers, not his, yours. When are you going to learn how to handle my thought and my emotion? At the end of your life? The only problem really with life is just this. Most human beings have taken themselves too seriously. They don't understand. You've seen on the computer screen these pop-ups? You are a pop-up on this planet. You pop up for 2 seconds and pop out. No, you must see, countless number of people like you and me have walked this planet. They were also big people. Where are they? All
Topsoil? Topsoil or no? Unless somebody, your friends decide to bury you real deep, fearing that you may rise from the dead. There have been such instances. Or maybe you're planning to go to heaven. Hello? Anybody who talks about a place other than this place, as a better place than this is a crime against humanity. My fundamental work is to destroy all heavens so that people will learn to live well here. All these idiots who made a hell out of themselves, they want to go to heaven. They made a mess out of this place and then they want to go to heaven. I am asking you, do you have any proof? Do you have any proof that you are not already in heaven and messing it up? Do you have any proof? You're already in heaven, making a mess out of it. Yes, simply because you are not even learning how to handle your basic faculties of thought and emotion, isn't it? Your only justification is, everybody is like this only, that's how it is in a madhouse. That is how it is in a madhouse, only a doctor looks crazy. So when are you going to handle it? Slowly, at the age of 60? I'm asking. When will you learn how to handle my thought, how to handle my emotion, how to handle my body, how to handle my chemistry? When are you going to figure this? At the end of your life? Because this culture has grown, when to do spirituality means when you're 70, when you're no good for anything else. No, at the earliest possible time, whatever is most profound about you, not about heavens, about this life, everything that you need to know, you must know soonest, isn't it? Only then you live a sensible life. Okay, if I tell you a joke, you won't get offended. Because this is the most serious crowd I've ever seen in the last few years. How many of them are journalism? Most of them? Okay. This happened. Shankaran Pillai, when he was in Paris, was married to a French woman. One day, it was their anniversary, first anniversary. So she invited a bunch of friends and she wanted to cook something really fresh, everything fresh. So from morning, she was driving him to this market, that market, he got this fresh vegetables, fresh meat, fresh chicken, this, that, everything. Then in the evening she said, because the French have this, snail appetizer, she said, go to the beach and get some snails, fresh, and I will make some appetizer for all the friends who are coming. So Shankaran Pillai went to the beach and he was picking up all the snails and putting it in a bucket. Then he met an old friend, an Indian guy. They hit it off and they were talking about their old times. He just forgot that he's married. You know, when you meet old friends, it happens. And both of them went to a bar and they had a few drinks and he just forgot. Then he realized, then the snails were just climbing out and one snail fell out of the bucket. He realized, oh my God, I'm supposed to take these snails, my wife, French wife. She's waiting. So he said, I need to go, and he went. By then it was already very late. He went, he knew it's not going to be pleasant. So he came near the house and spilled all the snails on the ground, threw away the bucket and went and knocked on the door. The French fury came. He turned back and said, come on you guys, we're almost there, come on, let's go. So, when are you going to pick your snails and put them in the bucket and fix them? Huh? Your problems, you must fix them, isn't it? These are not problems. I want you to understand, you are not suffering your life. You're only suffering two fantastic faculties that only
It's a privilege of being human that we have these two fantastic faculties. One is, we have a vivid sense of memory. This is because of this memory our life is so rich, unlike any other creature. And we have a fantastic sense of imagination. Now, this is what you're suffering. What happened 10 years ago, you can still suffer. Why? Are you suffering life or memory? Hello? Memory. What may happen day after tomorrow, you're already suffering. Are you suffering life or imagination? Two most fantastic faculties you have, you're suffering. So what are you asking for? You want to become once again an earthworm. An earthworm is a very eco-friendly creature, I have nothing against it. But it took millions of years of evolution to get you this size of brain, and now you're suffering it. If we take away half your brain, of course you will sit there without any anxiety, without any suffering, peacefully. What we need is, we need to remove your brain, because you're suffering your own intelligence. Yes or no? Because we gave you a very complex machine, you have not bothered to read even the user's manual. You want to just blunder around. No, young people, it's time you figure out a few things about you. If you don't know how, we will give you tools, how to figure this machine out. Because in your life, many issues will come. More issues come up in your life means you're living a more active life. Nothing came up means you're not living. Yes? Lots of issues every day. I have the maximum number of trouble going on in my life on a daily basis. Because so much of activity around the world, global level of activity only with volunteers, okay? Volunteers means nobody is qualified for the job and you can't fire them for inefficiency and they love you. What to do? This one thing you must fix, that is, in your life, you are not the issue, okay? Whatever the issue, we'll do our best, but this should not be the issue.